I want to talk about 7 ways to attract and retain donors. 7 ways to attract and retain donors. NGOs are non-profit organizations, and they operate on the basis of donations from well-wishers. Donations are given on goodwill. You cannot force a donor to give you his or her resources, but you have to convince each and every donor that you have what it takes to implement a program. And that is why we believe that it's very important to equip you with strategies to attract and retain donors. So I have prepared here, and I will go quickly across all of them, 7 ways to attract and retain donor. Way number 1 is that ensure that your problem is very clear. Clarity of the problem. I talk to many NGOs a lot, and I tell them that as you start your NGO, stop focusing on very many programs: health, education, youth empowerment, women, maternal, wash, livelihood. You cannot do that as a new NGO. You need to identify where you can leverage and communicate clearly. Our organization economically empowers women, period. How do you do that? You go and articulate what you do. We look for women doing small-scale businesses, subsistence businesses, and we capitalize these businesses. We train the businesses on literacy numeracy scales. We build markets. You become very specific and ensure that, number 1, you have a clarity of a problem. And many of you can testify that you are starting out, but somebody lied to you that the more broader you are, the higher the probability of getting funded. Actually, the opposite is true. If you narrow down to a specific issue, you get a lot of information from that area and you define it clearly. So number 1 is that let there be a clarity of a problem. Then number 2 is what we call strategic pillars. Ensure that you have what is called a strategic plan. If you are running an organization without a strategic plan, you are flying blind. It doesn't have to be a very complex and comprehensive and big document. It can be a 10-page document. It can be a 5-page document, but you have to know where you are going, because it is from this strategic plan that you are going to identify how to do the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is a fundraising plan. You cannot fundraise for a program you've not identified. So number 2, develop a strategic plan, and then develop a small fundraising plan to act as a guide. After you develop this, then you go to the next, number 3. The third way to attract donors is to do what is called branding and strategic communications. You know, NGOs are very many and it's very competitive. We need somebody to know that you exist. That is why we say that you should be findable. Ensure that in whatever you do, what you are doing is a brand that anybody can easily identify. It don't have to be a big brand, but it can be a brand. What makes you a brand? What you do. We go back to what I talked about, number 1, what you do and how you achieve your outcome in the community. Then the next thing that you have to do is that always attend networking events. Always attend networking events. And whenever you participate in those events, ensure that you speak, mention your organization, and be very clear. Use what is called a result-based management framework. Just say where you are and what you do, not introducing your NGO, but always try to integrate your NGO or your organization in what you're speaking, on how you are bringing about the change in the community with respect to the topic of the workshop or the seminar you are attending. And next, we always tell people that please develop and submit concept notes, as many as you can. Reach out to organizations, develop concept notes, share with them, get the feedback from them, follow up on the areas they want you to do, and always develop concept note. Do your research, identify prospective donors, reach out to them, talk to them, do concept note, and submit to them. That is number 5. Number 6, learn to develop a winning technical proposal. Learn to develop a winning technical proposal. I have been in not workshops but panels where we review proposals. You can see an organization doing a wonderful thing, but their proposal is very poor. We will have a complete set of videos teaching you how to do proposals. But in the meantime, whatever you have, the limited resources you have, please learn to do a very complete winning proposal. And then Number 7, which is the final thing, is that communicate change. Use what is called a result-based management framework. If I was running an organization called Africa Development Network, and you call me, or I'm speaking to somebody, I would say that my name is Wycliffe. I work as a grant manager for Africa Development Network. Africa Development Network was founded 5 years ago to empower young people to realize their potential. We equip and train them with the literacy and numeracy skills, as well as connect them with employers. Since we began, now I'm going to the age, since we began, over 20,000 youths have passed through our facility, and 80% have been connected with the employers, are now accessing gainful employment. In fact, 60% are members of our, what is called alumni, contributing to our organization and helping us to reach more. You see, I'm not saying what we do, but I'm also communicating the change. So have them very well, there's 7 of them. Ensure that your problem is very clear. Do what is called strategic plan, and develop also fundraising plan. Do what is called branding. Your organization should communicate who you are and communicate it out. That is branding and communications. Attend networking events. Actually, I was forgetting something. Do as much as you can to have that approval by the United Nations to attend their networking event. There is a process they look into. But if you can, please get that approval, and then always develop and submit concept note. Learn how to develop a winning proposal. And lastly, communicate change using result-based management framework. Using those approaches, you should be able to increase potentially your capacity to receive donations from donors. Thank you so much for taking your time. Please subscribe if you have not done so. Click the notification bell so that anytime we post new videos, you'll be the first to be notified. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.